Yo guys, what's going on? So today, I got a video that we're gonna be watching. It's a history of Mortal Kombat. I've always been interested in Mortal Kombat ever since I was a kid. I don't play it that often anymore, but the lore is pretty interesting to me. I like the first two movies, even though they're pretty bad. I enjoy them. So let's watch the history of Mortal Kombat.
Based on real life. That's right. A fighting tournament that will determine if various realms are controlled by other realms, which occurs once every generation, is, in fact, utter nonsense. I don't know why you'd think that would be real. But what is real are the inspirations behind the various characters that make up the cast of the original Mortal Kombat.
Bro, the original soundtrack to the first movie, it blows all the other soundtracks away. Like, it was all downhill from there. I love that soundtrack.
We start with my personal favorite character, Sub-Zero, and his palette swap Scorpion. According to Mortal Kombat co-creator John Tobias, Sub-Zero was based on the Lin Kuei clan. This clan comes from a book written by Li Xing, China's Ninja Connection, which posits historical evidence for the existence of the Lin Kuei and their influence on the Japanese ninja. So, according to China's Ninja Connection, who were these Lin Kuei? Well, according to the back of the book, at last, the forerunners of the Japanese ninja and Korean Hwarang warriors have come out of the shadows. Long shrouded in illusion, the clan of the Lin Kuei, forest demons, has endured since its birth in the forests of long ago China. Masters of survival, the Kuei incorporate the cunning behavior of forest animals and the deadly, no-nonsense fighting techniques known only to them, until now.
Bro, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know any of this.
That's about all I can find, because getting a copy of this book is impossible or super expensive. So I print out this picture that I found on a forum. And there's not really much information online, because, well, the book is a fraud. While it is the basis
Oh, okay.
for the backstories of the characters of Sub-Zero and eventually Scorpion, from what I could find, it seems the book China's Ninja Connection was written by an author using the pseudonym of Li Xing to cash in on the ninja craze of the 1980s and 90s. In fact, according to John Tobias, he actually was aware about the controversy and says, "I was aware of there being some controversy about the author's claims, so when we split the character in two for palette swaps, I thought it would be fitting that one was of Chinese origins and the other Japanese to kind of embody the argument." While the Lin Kuei are fake in real life, in Mortal Kombat, the Lin Kuei is a secret Chinese clan of mercenary ninja. Their skills go beyond the abilities of normal men, like, I don't know, shooting freezing ice beams at people. Sub-Zero is a part of this group. Meanwhile, Scorpion joins the Japanese Shirai Ryu clan, all of whom were assassinated, including himself. Okay, so the Lin Kuei and
Yeah, dude. That Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 2019, it was pretty sick when it showed the beginning of the clans and where Sub-Zero's clan almost wipes out Scorpion's clan. It's pretty cool though.
Shirai Ryu, not real. But what about ninjas? Well, for anyone familiar with Naruto, you'll
No!
probably know that ninja weren't really called ninja back then, but most often referred
Shinobi?
to as shinobi. It's been difficult for historians to pin down exactly when shinobi first started to arise, but we do know from historical documents that they definitely started to appear around the Sengoku period in Japan. The Sengoku period is probably one of the most romanticized eras of Japanese history.
Yeah.
It's when warring daimyo
Yeah, dude, it was pretty sick. According to all anime and fiction.
or feudal lords were vying for control over Japan. This is the point in time where you get all of those legendary tales of samurais squaring off against each other. It's
Bro, Samurai Warriors, let's go, baby. Let's go. You got all the warring factions. You got fuck. Masamune Date and shit. Uh Nobunaga Oda. Yeah,
took place from
those
around
guys.
roughly 1467 and ended shortly after the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600, when Tokugawa Ieyasu was able to successfully unify Japan and make it whole again.
Isaac, make us whole again.
And it's out of all this civil unrest of the Sengoku period that we really start to see the rise of shinobi. Famously, villages like Iga and Koga were ones where shinobi specifically learned the ways of the shinobi and
Hattori Hanzo, baby.
trained since birth. Again, I'm getting flashes of Naruto and Konohagakure here. It's disputed if shinobi really wore black, as depicted in famous pop culture, with that really being something that was popularized thanks to Japanese kabuki plays, where ninja would be dressed in black like stagehands. Really, they were trained in the arts of espionage and assassination. What that means is, practically, it made more sense for them to be disguised like a commoner. More similar to Mortal Kombat, shinobi would be trained in martial arts. I mean, these were often assassins after all. Unlike samurai, who were considered honorable, shinobi would learn how to fight in a more dishonorable fashion. They learned how to use poison and explosives. As I mentioned earlier, disguised themselves as commoners to either get information or assassinate someone, and learned many techniques for sneaking into places undetected. Apparently, these shinobi had various jutsus, or techniques, based around
Stop it. Stop comparing real ninjas to Naruto. Come on, bro.
elements, like a Mokuto no Jutsu, or wood technique. That said, these techniques were more akin to ways to conceal oneself, like hiding in the foliage of a tree, as opposed to, I don't know, shooting ice out of your hands. Ultimately, whether or not Mortal Kombat is even remotely accurate in their depiction of ninja isn't
They don't need to be. It's a video game, bro. It's a video game.
important. Shinobi were badass, and so too are Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And you know what? Apparently in 2018, Professor Nakanishi Go of Japan's Mie University discovered there were a few Chinese-born ninja. In particular, Denrinbo Raikei, who was believed to be a Chinese martial artist who lost a duel in Japan and became a shinobi disciple. So, there's my Sub-Zero.
Oh, we're
Kano
going into
was
Kano?
the original bad boy of Mortal
The
Kombat.
Australian?
No Harry Potter shit, alright?
He's the leader of the Black Dragon, a major criminal enterprise which has made him a wanted man in a large array of countries. And I'm very specifically mentioning that Black Dragon origin for a reason. While his eye laser is pure fiction and was inspired by the likes of Terminator, the Black Dragon is very loosely based on a real-life organization, the Black Dragon Society. The real Black Dragon Society was founded in 1901 by Uchida Ryohei. Ryohei was a martial artist who was also a member of the Dark Ocean Society, or Genyosha. This secret society would use illegal and terroristic means to expand Japan's reach into Asia, often utilizing brothels and prostitutes to gather information. The Black Dragon Society, or Kokuryukai, was similarly an ultra-nationalist Japanese group with its focus initially against Russia before it would expand its operations around the world. This was even expanded to America, where the FBI actually arrested members of the Black Dragon Society in San Joaquin Valley, California in 1942.
Well, that's
and
crazy.
Who's to say if Sonya Blade or Jax were part of that operation? Unlike the Dark Ocean Society, the Black Dragon Society originally tried to avoid criminal activity, but fell into utilizing it to help support their operations. Some of what they would do was pressure Japanese politicians to create foreign policies more akin to their pro-nationalistic interests and dispatch agents to perform espionage and sabotage against Russia, spread propaganda, and were even involved in assassinations. The society was eventually disbanded after World War II by the Americans, whose occupation authorities disbanded it in 1946.
Damn, got him.
Next, we get to Raiden. Raiden. Okay, it's spelled Raiden, usually, and it's based in Japanese, meaning it should be Raiden, but it's Raiden. Anyways, on that whole being based in Japanese thing, Raiden, who is of course
Did you
Mortal
create?
Kombat's
No. Did you create it? Did you create the game? No, you shut your mouth. The creator of the game gets to tell you how it's said. That's just like when they tried to do that with Aang and Ong for the Last Airbender with the live action movie. No, it's Aang. You better shut your mouth.
God of Thunder is based on the Japanese deity Raijin, and in the Japanese Shinto religion, Daijin is the god of thunder. He was born from the corpse of the Japanese deity Izanami in Yomi, the land of the dead. As the god of thunder, he causes the storms of Japan and often works with his brother Fujin, or the god of wind, to create these storms and typhoons.
Yo, that's
in
cool.
1274, Kublai Khan, the then leader of the Mongols, attempted to invade Japan with a fleet of 500 to 900 ships. However, after withdrawing to head to China, they were hit by a massive typhoon and an estimated 13,000 men drowned. In 1281, he sent a second, larger fleet to invade Japan, this time consisting of an estimated 4,400 ships. Yet again, a massive storm caused them to take refuge, this time at Imari Bay, where instead they were met by a typhoon thought to be a kamikaze, or divine wind. It's estimated that at least half of the men died and only a few hundred ships were spared. Okay, so that bit about the Mongols is real, and is widely considered to be one of the most disastrous naval invasions to have ever been attempted. Coming back to Raijin, in some myths, it was Raijin who created these storms and saved the Japanese people. Raijin is often depicted with two giant drums, which he beats to create the sound of thunder. You can spot statues of him in several Japanese
Bro,
shrines,
what? That's the guy from One Piece.
including the famous Sanju Sangendo in Kyoto, which if you ever visit Japan, is absolutely worth seeing. My dog even just left to go see it. In
I know.
relation to Mortal Kombat, another name that Raijin can go by is Raiden. Not Raiden, but hey, close enough. We come to the goodest boy and prime defender of Earthrealm himself,
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. Originally, Liu Kang would be named Minamoto Yoshitsune, but Midway forced a name change which led to Liu Kang, inspired instead by Gordon Liu of the 36th Chamber of Shaolin. With the name change, Liu Kang also went from Japanese to Chinese. Liu Kang was originally set to be a traditional Shaolin monk, but because the actor who played Liu Kang refused to shave his head like a traditional monk, Liu Kang was instead modeled after Bruce Lee and made a renegade monk. So, taking the renegade part out for a moment, what would the life of a traditional Shaolin monk have been like? To start, the Shaolin Monastery, or Shaolin Temple, was first built in 495 AD. The first abbot, Batuo, was sponsored by Emperor Xiaowen of Northern Wei, and used the monastery to study and translate original Buddhist scriptures. Various Buddhist masters would come
Bro, I swear the first original guy that was like, we need to be bald, was just a balding old guy who was unhappy with himself, so he just forced everyone else to be bald. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm making stuff up.
to the monastery, and the pillars of the monastery became Chan Buddhism, martial arts, Buddhist art, and traditional Chinese medicine. Martial arts were a mainstay of the temple from its very inception, and Shaolin monks worked to perfect their Shaolin Kung Fu. Martial arts were important for these Chinese monasteries because they had a lot of land, and people wanted that land.
Yeah.
So developing and cultivating martial arts
Yeah, bandits try to take their land all the time.
for their monks was a very practical way to protect the temples. It was during the Sui dynasty of
Sorry about
581
that.
to 618 AD that Shaolin monks started to create their own fighting system, and Shaolin Kung Fu really started to take shape. By the 16th and 17th centuries, new Buddhist lore started to be created justifying their extreme practice of martial arts, and literature of the time started to talk about Shaolin warrior monks. Back to Liu Kang for a moment, his moveset, especially in later games, is derived from the Shaolin martial arts. For example, in Mortal Kombat Deception, he uses Pao Chui, which is one of the earlier styles of Shaolin Kung Fu. In Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, he uses the style Choi Li Fut, which takes arm and hand techniques from the Shaolin animal forms. That said, what he uses in the original game is Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do being the hybrid style of martial arts developed by Bruce Lee. In the more recent Mortal Kombat 11, he can use Luo Han Quan, which once again is a Shaolin martial arts style utilizing Luo Han's 18 hand styles. On another note, if you watched the original Mortal Kombat film, which why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
It's
I like it.
awesome. Liu Kang's Order of Light, where Liu Kang trained, while supposed to be in China, was actually filmed at Wat Thai Watanaram in Thailand.
I didn't know
This
that.
is the one everybody knows, but let's do it. Johnny Cage is based on the real-life action movie star Jean-Claude Van Damme. This was because, originally, Midway wanted to license a game with Jean-Claude Van Damme based on his film Bloodsport, but he turned it down. So they put Johnny Cage in as a spoof of Jean-Claude Van Damme, movie star status and all, and his infamous splits crotch punch as a nod to Van Damme's very same move in Bloodsport. Also, thanks to the Mortal Kombat film, he became one of my favorite characters as a kid.
This is where you fall down.
Finally, we get to Sonya Blade. While Sonya was inspired by the martial artist Cynthia Rothrock, who was a world champion multiple times between the years of 1981 and 1985, much of her original persona came from the actress who would portray her, Elizabeth Malecki. Malecki didn't have a martial arts background, but rather was an aerobic instructor, so she wore an aerobic-style thong for Sonya, which has since become iconic to the character. But another important aspect to the character is that Sonya is part of the United States Special Forces. In the lore of the game, that means she's constantly at odds with Kano and the Black Dragon crime organization. In real life, the US Special Forces are a specific offset of different military branches that, like the name, have specialized missions and roles outside of frontline combat forces. These can be a wide variety of units with different roles, but Special Forces generically refer to units with elite training, some better known like the Navy SEALs focusing on sea-to-land operations, and Green Berets who train foreign forces to fight on their own, as well as specializing in unconventional warfare. As a US Special Forces member, you could be involved in counterinsurgency, reconnaissance, foreign internal defense, direct
Fighting crazy guys that have powers. It's crazy, bro.
action, and counterterrorism. Green Berets, in particular, who are primarily deployed in foreign countries, would be learning foreign languages and various political and cultural issues of the regions they're assigned to. That said, they can also receive secondary missions like combat search and rescue, counter-narcotics, hostage rescue, or even manhunts. Those are all
That's
of the
crazy.
playable characters from Mortal Kombat 1 and the real history behind them. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did,
Yeah, it was a
consider
pretty good
checking out
video. Oh, I'll put it down in the description like I always do. Alright, guys. If you liked it, leave a like. If you disliked it, dislike it. If you like their video, go watch it in the description. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. This was a good video.